Hello everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. Just give me a moment to get things set up here. Make sure everybody can see me and hear me. Well, not see me, but see what I'm doing. It's been a while, got distracted by real life for a little bit there, but I'm back into it now and working on the next For the Empire animation, which I hope to have out by the end of April or late April for your viewing pleasure. So I'm just going to be setting up a little sequence here. Hi Christina, and yeah, we'll see how we go. Hey TK224, sorry. So I don't want to give away too much of what's happening here. Hi Victor, Victoire. What we doing? We're working on the next episode of For the Empire. And we're seeing some more rebels this time around. So at the moment I'm just setting up a new sequence, dropping my actors in, and my camera, and get everything set up so we can have a look at the basic action of what's happening in this particular shot. Now you might recall a little while ago I posted something about posted a picture of a Zeltron, and I don't know if any of you remember Zeltrons from the old Marvel comics, but this particular episode is going to feature a Zeltron. And I could be wrong, but I think that may be the first live action appearance, well not live action, sorry, but first appearance of Zeltrons in any media outside the comics. So if I'm wrong about that, please let me know, but I think we could be having a bit of a first here. Or people may not know what Zeltrons are. If you don't know what a Zeltron is, Google is your friend. Hello Christina. So we're just going to have this character in the background. She's going to walk out of this doorway and just advance, and just finding a place to stop. So she's quite tall, and this guy is actually sinking in the ground, so he can be raised up a little bit. So she's a little bit floaty, but hopefully we'll get away with that because we're not actually seeing her feet. Too much there. So still a little bit floaty, but we'll adjust the timing there. So she looks like she's actually walking on the ground as opposed to floating above it. go. That's hopefully looking a little better. She's still a bit floaty, but I'll work on that later and fine tune that. Just set up the camera shots to start with, and we've got a camera here with a nice 50mm lens. Get that to our close-up. Might go a little tighter actually. Might go for a say 70. To organise this project a bit more. I'm a bit sloppy on this one. TK224, you're talking about this pose? You said you find it funny when they do a pose when the animation isn't running. They go back to default kind of yeah, I used to find that funny. You kind of get used to it after a while, but yeah, when you don't do a lot of animation, it's quite funny how the performance just kind of stops. Boom. Stops dead. I'm just going to play a bit with the lighting here as well. It's quite harsh. I remember seeing a behind the scenes of The Last of Us, the original game, not the TV series, the video game, and how they used to do the motion capture performances, and they'd do these full-on dramatic performances that were quite intense and quite draining on the actors, and then at the end of every performance they would have to stand up and go to this kind of stiff formal T-pose to, I guess, to recalibrate the characters. But it was quite bizarre to watch, because sometimes these actors were in tears and they were just having to stand there in this T-pose. So that camera's a bit static, so we're just going to put a bit of wobble on that. Hey, it's G-Saga, thank you for that. Thanks for that comment. It gets easier over time to create the animation. It's hard to begin with, but it does definitely get easier over time. Once you start to get into the flow of it. Going to do a little push in as well. Hey Dan, yes, it is definitely very potentially addictive. I can fiddle for hours just on the lighting sometimes, trying to get the lighting in just the right place. Like at the moment I'm not really 100% happy with this lighting, but you guys probably don't want to watch me fiddle around with lights for half an hour. But yeah, there's no first AD standing over your shoulder looking at his watch. There's no real deadlines other than, you know, eventually you have to get this out, so it is very easy just to keep playing and playing and playing for hours on end. It's basically like a little free movie studio. But there are worse things to be addicted to. again. Starts out a little low in frame. Might just drop the camera down a little bit. Oops. Am I pro-imperial or do I support the rebellion? Well, I guess idealistically I would support the rebellion, but storytelling-wise, not much has been told from the Imperial side, so it does make it a little bit interesting to sort of explore things from that side. Especially if you think of the stormtroopers as more than just mindless drones. Hello, Buzzy Creations. So I'm just gonna. This guy's shoulders are very rounded, so I'm just gonna have to play with that. Try to see if I can flatten them out a bit. Yes, I think if I was ever in the Star Wars galaxy, I would find myself firmly on the side of the rebels. We want his. So just bring his shoulders down a bit, so they're not quite so ballish. That's what happens when you get some of these animations off other websites and use them with the different skeletons. Sometimes it doesn't transfer absolutely perfectly and you have to do a little bit of cleanup, but I think that's the same all over 3D animation really. So that looks a bit better. So she's supposed to have something in her hand, but it doesn't really look like she's holding it at the moment, so I'm just going to go in and adjust that as well. I'll just shrink it a little bit, it's quite large. So does anyone here know what a Zeltron is, or is this deep dive a little too deep? See if I can make him look a little bit more nervous than he is. So see, this is what I mean about the lighting. So it's something as simple as you can literally move the sunlight around wherever you want it to be and get the look that you want. And sometimes something can look right, and then 5 minutes later I'll look at it again and like, no, I don't like that anymore, and I'll go with something else. So yeah, you can fiddle for ages. The Empire is very xenophobic. So how's everybody finding the new Mandalorian series? Any feedback? Be honest, we're all friends here. You guys are enjoying it? Oh, that's great. I'm just a little curious about where the series, this particular season, is headed. It's not super clear what the current journey is, but I'm sure they will clear it up in the next few episodes, hopefully. Just adjust that backlight. There is a new episode out, isn't there? There's episode 5 is out. I haven't actually watched it yet. I might watch that right after this. So that little bit of edge light is just on his shoulder is nice. Just helps to separate them from the background. I just put a little bit of an eye flick in there on that nod. What I do like about these kind of more cartoony characters is that you can get away with a bit of over-the-top expression, a bit cartoonish reactions. So that's fun. That's always fun. I definitely haven't regretted going in this direction. I did play a bit with the metahumans. But they're not quite there yet. Every performance I watch with metahumans, unless it's very, very well done, I'm distracted by how close they are to humans without actually being humans, if you know what I mean, which distracts from the performance and the production that people want you to watch. So you're watching the animation, you're watching the metahuman rather than watching the actual show. Whereas hopefully with these more Pixar-y, cartoonish characters, they're a bit less distracting. But I don't know, you guys tell me which if these are still falling into the uncanny valley or not. Thank you, Jesse. And thank you for being a member. To everyone else who's on board, remember that memberships are an option on this channel. You can get early access to these videos before they come out to the general public, and it's for a very reasonable price. Speaking of which, when filming a facial mocap with MetaHuman, what FPS would you set it to? I cannot answer that question with any authority because I haven't actually done that. No, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that one. I haven't played with MetaHumans for quite a while now, actually. Although, having said that, Unreal is coming out with a whole bunch of new add-ons for them. So I might have to revisit. Yeah, TK224, it is quite crazy how accessible these tools are now that were, you know, AAA quality $1 million studio tools before. And it's great. It's great. People are making stuff with these tools that's absolutely incredible. And, you know, I love to see it. I love to see this this whole creative process being democratized. And people making stuff with Unreal, not just for Star Wars, but for all sorts of different their own stories, other franchises, things that might not otherwise be seen, because just a few years ago it would have been logistically impossible. Sugar Plum, Make Human or MetaHuman? Is Make Human a different thing? I haven't actually heard of that one. Sorry, I am just fiddling around with expressions at the moment and watching you guys chat. Nova Troopers. What are Nova Troopers? I can't say I'm not familiar with those. Is that prequel era or? Buzzy Creations, I am pro good story. Whichever character lends itself to the best, most interesting story. If an idea pops into my head, then I will tell a story about it, no matter where it comes from. Like the clickers the other day. That was an idea that just popped into my head, and I knew it was a story that had to be told. Oh, okay. I will have to look them up. Thank you, TK224. It was a lot of fun to make, actually. I've been trying to think of another one, but I think it's kind of limited in what they can do. I'm not actually sure what I can do with the clickers. But that's not to say I won't make another one. Just put a little bit of upper spine movement just to so it doesn't look too inflexible. Might even have a glance backwards. So the trickiest part I'm finding with this particular episode, it's hard to tell from this shot, but it's actually set outdoors on a desert planet. You know, those desert planets. And deserts, or desert lighting, like full sun, is something we generally try and avoid in filmmaking because it's quite harsh and unforgiving. So it's not only trying to recreate that, but trying to make it look good in a virtual environment as well. And I'm finding I'm having to add a lot of bounce and fill and just like little detail lights, just so it's not just a mass of shadows and bright light. Which is really interesting, you know, real world issues being replicated in a digital format. Having worn a few different helmets, like for real, Stormtrooper helmets, I would have to say that the Scout Trooper was my favourite because it was the most comfortable and had the most visibility. Which makes sense, you know, when you're dashing around the trees of Endor. Oh yeah, sugar. That having one shadow on Tatooine, that does make sense, or doesn't make sense. There should be two, shouldn't there? But you know, it was the 70s. We should forgive them. They were doing their best under trying circumstances. Okay guys, I'll probably wrap that up for now. Once again, channel memberships are a thing. If you want to get early access to this episode before it drops to the general public, about a week's early advance access, you can become a channel member. You could also become a Patreon member, which achieves the same goal. Or, you know, drop a donation to this channel on the link on this live chat. That will be absolutely awesome. If anybody's feeling the generosity and has a little bit of spare cash burning a hole in their pocket, or a super thanks, is always much appreciated. And yeah, we'll look forward to bringing this one out to you, and doing a few more live streams in the near future. So thank you again everyone, and we'll talk again soon.